Hey guys, welcome to your monthly astrology report for this month of August 2022 with me, your astrologer, Alexander Irving from Chasing the Bagua. And it's an incredible month full of change, full of possibility, and let's just be guided by our higher consciousness. We start off this month with, under this new moon energy, we had the Leo new moon that was exact on the 28th here on the East Coast. And this was in a beneficial aspect to Jupiter, the great expander, right? And Jupiter is in Aries. I've been talking about this since last year. You know, Jupiter represents, one of the things it does represent is produce. And this retrograde can magnify the change that is happening with food. If you look all over the world, there is so much happening between farmers and all this stuff. It is escalating, there is tension, and by the 7th, we're going to have Mars square Saturn. Saturn is the everyday people, like those farmers. So this can actually come up into, you know, a bubbling point, a tipping point. And there's already so much change as we even come into the month, because we're having that huge stellium with Mars, with Uranus and the North Node all at 18 degrees of Taurus. This is the Pleiades. Mars, you know, does represent war. It does represent our logic. It represents hunger as well. This can be, you know, different, and muscles as well. And, you know, thinking about it, you know, the sun does rule the actual heart. So this can be a month, like, I know I'm not going to get too much into this, but there has been more heart attacks and all this stuff. So this month in particular, it actually may exacerbate that type of issues, because as we come into this full moon, it's actually going to be in this cardinal cross. As we start off the month, we have Mercury in the opposition to Saturn, and Saturn's in that T-square, right? I know, bear with me. This is a pressurized energy that's happening. So the T-square is just 2 squares. We're dealing with 4 squares. And so this creates a lot of friction, a lot of intensity. It's like a rags to riches type of energy. So let's not fold under the pressure. One person that did have a Grand Cross that comes to mind is Steve Jobs, is that kind of energy to be able to, you know, surmount odds, to become successful after, you know, like going through a lot of challenges, dire straits and challenges. So we may be going through this, but this new moon was under Aslesha Nakshatra, and it really gives us the courage, it gives us luxury, it gives us the way to access the most love and spiritual insights that is possible for us. So there is a great magnitude of love, of inspiration, of higher knowledge that we're tapping into. So don't despair through these challenges or the chaos that we may see through the media as we go through this month, because this Mars Uranus North Node conjunction was happening during this new moon. So this is an influence that we're going to be seeing throughout the lunation cycle until the Virgo new moon on the 27th. So this is extreme energy, and it's showing up in the 10th house from the sun. So like, we're going to be paying attention to some extreme rationale from leaders, from people in charge, from the world itself. This can be a crazy time. And, you know, we are going to talk about this, but Mars also does move into the sign of Gemini later in the month. We'll get there. But Mars, when it moves into Gemini, can actually trigger more of the hostility in cities, more of the kind of aggravations in our day-to-day travels and things like that. So Mars will move into Gemini on the 20th. And Mars is going to retrograde and won't be moving out of Gemini until March 23rd or March 25th, 2023. So there's going to be quite a time period that we have Mars, the planet of war, the planet of hunger, in this sign. So yeah, that's another theme that we may see. Some cities actually not being able to get produce in, food in. These things might happen. I hope it doesn't, but I'm just interpreting the charts here. So yeah, so starting off, do have fun. It is Leo season. This is the time to be guided by our heart, no matter how things are tough or challenging us. And like I said, I know we're all going through some challenges with this grand cross, this cardinal cross, which we're going to see and we're going to feel throughout the month, because first Mercury is there, and then as we come into the Aquarius full moon on the 11th, we're going to get the sun in that grand cross. So that's, our consciousness, our vitality as well, and the leaders. There may be huge pressure on the presidents, on world leaders and all these things. And they may actually start being pinned against each other even more so, if that's even possible to think about. But let's pull it into ourselves, right? So Mercury enters Virgo, which is its home sign, on the 4th of August. It will be here until August 25th. This is the home of Mercury. So when it comes to getting our things done, navigating our day-to-day stress and all that, we are going to be able to take charge and fix things and have follow through and all that. So use this month wisely to get the things done that you need, and to listen to that sense of urgency within your heart and where it is that you need to navigate. This is a fixed fire sign, Leo, where we have the sun for the majority until the 22nd of Virgo, or 22nd of August. The sun will move into Virgo. So we have quite a time to fully live our expression and be led into higher places for this. So first quarter square we're going to have on the 5th. This is going to present its set of challenges because the sun will start moving into that cardinal cross, and there will be some pressure on our emotions, pressure on letting some things go so we can feel more safe in our lives. I think this month will be a month that will defy some relationships, defy how we've been using our resources, all these things. There's going to be a lot of change. So that first quarter square is the 5th. I think, this will show us more into a keen direction of what we truly need to do for ourselves. Venus will enter Leo on the 11th, which is also the same day as the full moon of Aquarius. So the 11th is going to definitely be a trigger point for everyday people, because Saturn's still in that square. Saturn's retrograde, and the moon is going to be conjunct it within a 3-degree orb. So by the 11th, there is going to be this new type of pressure when it comes to finances, and also Venus is going to be a little diminished. So our feelings, it may be harder for us to find the love that we want, to find that satiety that we want in our lives. We also are getting Mars in square to Saturn early in that first week of August. So that's something that is going to tie on that pressure again for the everyday people. So this could be definitely a month that changes things for the everyday people. There's a lot going on with the farmers, with food. Like I said, Jupiter represents produce, it being retrograde. Venus, after, going into like the 20th, will start trining Jupiter. And on the 19th, we have that last quarter square. And so this is going to be a very tricky place, I would say, for us, for ourselves, in our sense of security, because the moon is going to be in this conjunction with Uranus, and Mars will be moving out of Taurus that next day, and it will ingress into Gemini, and will not be leaving that sign until March of 2023. So this is going to be probably one of the bigger pushes in August, is, the 19th, the 20th, in there. The 22nd is when the sun ingresses into Virgo, and then we're also going to get the sun in square to Mars as well. So that's going to be another tension point, especially for, I would say, Virgo rules health. So how the leaders are going about this health crisis, there's probably going to be new, I would hope not mandates and things like this, but there is definitely going to be a change around the 19th, 20th, 22nd, for this, for our welfare, for health, all these types of things. And like I said, Mars ingresses into Gemini on the 20th. It will be there till March 25th, 2023. Last time that we had Mars in the sign of Gemini, Gemini rules the cities. It rules, our everyday people. This is when we had like all those shootings and things that, Mars represents war. It represents weapons and these things. It can also be a significator of disease as well. So there could be some toxins and stuff like that that happen. But for ourselves, with Mars in the sign of Gemini, this can get ourselves moving and motivated into new ways of operating, especially when it has to do for, making sure that we can feed ourselves, making sure that we can go about and carry out business and have our responsibilities and duties and all these things. Mars will be entering shadow on the 29th, which will also, Venus will be in opposition to Saturn. So, when we exit out this month, it will feel a little bit, I think there'll be more change that's ushered in as we go out through the month. I think we'll feel that, maybe the rug is being slipped out from underneath us as we go into the 20th on some level, more on global level. When it comes to our personal selves, of course, like all this energy is going to be hitting us different in our natal charts, and also how we are using our free will within this energy. And like I said, this is Leo season. It's ruled by the sun. This is where we have the awareness for our kingdom, for taking care of ourselves. So really right now it's the time to make the moves necessary. As well, I think relationships may be ending. We have Venus in opposition to Pluto, and then it'll oppose Saturn. So Venus, the planet of love, relationships, beauty, and finances, she's going to be going through some big transformations this month. So, you know, what is not serving us, we must shed, we must save our kingdom, right? This is the sun in Leo. So look at your desires, look at what is feeding your heart, and kind of keep the naysayers out, and keep also the toxic kind of conversations or informations out as well, because this is a beautiful time. If things do get heated, if things start escalating and getting worse, and you know, I think there is a chance that this month it can be a little harder on, you know, some places accessing food. I think that is a possibility. I think, you know, world leaders are definitely going to be having some erratic, illogical maneuvers that they are having, and there is going to be some more rise up from people, I would say, and you know, and I think some things are going to be issued on this guise of war, or why we're not getting certain things, you know, supply chain and all this stuff. But not to be afraid. Remember, we are under this this divine new energy of creating more community, of gathering more intelligence from the divine, from the creator, because that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that happened on solstice of 2020. This is a 20-year cycle. We're fresh into it. So expand your mind and see that your tribe is expanding. The people that are coming into contact are for more beauty, for more understanding of your life, and how you're expressing yourself. This is a great time, I would say. Yes, there are challenges, and we need to just find the benevolence within ourselves and do what we can for ourselves. Remember how they say on a plane, you always put your gas mask on, or your air mask, your oxygen mask on first. So we all really need to do that right now. We all need to take care of ourselves, listen to what we need, and be guided and surrender to the ultimate strength. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know this can be a tough month there, but it can also be very blessed and have a lot of amazing connections and new insights and possibilities. So don't despair. Whatever you're going through, there is going to be silver lining that is coming through. I know with this these cardinal crosses, it can be big challenges that we're facing, but it's also the energy that creates the maximum movement towards the finest direction that our soul could ever think. Well, thank you so much, and I will see you soon.